My name is Victoria. I'm the head of growth and university relations here at CodePath, and today I'm with my wonderful colleagues, Blas and Clinton, who are our cybersecurity specialists and are helping tech fellows, which are our student leaders throughout the U.S., implement cybersecurity courses throughout their campuses. They could probably hack you in about a minute. So we take them really seriously, and we're really excited to be here today and tell you a little bit more about our cybersecurity courses. Okay, so here are our founders. CodePath is an organization that was started a couple years back. It actually started as a for-profit organization. What they did was create, for example, Airbnb's first engineer onboarding program. They redesigned Facebook's global engineer onboarding program. They trained 3,000 plus senior engineers between 2013 and 2017 at some of these companies, including Netflix, Facebook, Lyft, Box. So what all of these founders have in common is they actually come from low-income backgrounds. So when they were involved in tech and they started to look around and they noticed that a lot of these senior engineers looked the same and came from the same background, they really took it upon themselves to start their own organization, nonprofit organization that would be able to create career pathways for college students from any university into Silicon Valley jobs to really up their careers and their pathways. So Michael, he actually grew up homeless in rural Maine. He has created a variety of startups, one which is a unicorn, which is valued at $1.2 billion. Nathan Eskenazi and Tim Lee have also started their own companies and are really just focused on student outcomes as well as how they can continue to give back to students throughout the US. So here's just an executive summary about what CodePath is. So we're a 501c3 nonprofit, increasing diversity in tech by transforming college and university computer science education nationwide. So what do we do, right? We partner with companies to create modern job-focused CS courses. So for example, Facebook, we have partnered with to develop some of our curriculum, Google, Microsoft, just a variety of different companies that are hiring and looking for certain characteristics in students. We actually create the curriculum with that in mind. So as a second step, we integrate the courses into existing computer science programs throughout the US. We are at a variety of universities ranging from Michigan State to Howard University, Virginia Tech, and so many more. So we, as a third step, we then connect students to high-paying jobs and careers through mentorship programs, virtual career fairs, and a variety of resources to really make sure that they're set up for their start in tech. So currently, we have been at 50 plus colleges and universities across the US. To date, we've taught over 4,500 students, and we're very proud to report that 44% are women or minorities. So currently, we're doubling our number of students taught every semester. So we're really excited to be able to tell you a little bit more about what it is that we do. So here are some of our job outcomes, right? So for example, if this course is running non-credit on your campus, or you're wondering, why on earth would I take on something outside of, my already heavy course load, these job outcomes can really provide some clarity as to why students do that and what we're being able to produce for students, right? So 42% of students who take a CodePath course land internships at Amazon, Microsoft, Tesla, and more. So some of those really top tech players. This past year, 588 CodePath students received internships or full-time job offers, of which 41% were from Fortune 1000 companies, 12% were from the FAANG companies, and 2% from unicorn startups. We also have some entrepreneurs that have gone on to create their own companies, which is also very exciting. And another great stat that we've seen is among a recent cohort of first-generation CodePath alumni, 65% are software engineers, software developers, or suite interns. So with that, I'll go ahead and pass it on to my colleague Blas, who will take it from here.
Thank you, Victoria. Hey everyone, my name is Blas, and I'm one of the cybersecurity gurus. Just a brief overview of the cybersecurity course itself. It's a no-cost cybersecurity course, and it's specifically meant for computer science or for related majors. The curriculum is open source and it's maintained on GitHub, so everything is pretty ahead of the curve. Oh snap! There we go. Okay, so yeah, long story short, everything is up to speed with the most up-to-date sort of infrastructure and such related to web security. Specifically because this course is specifically web security related. It relates to a lot of what you would encounter if you were to deal with some sort of network security or remotely trying to exploit certain devices. Victoria, if you could please go to the next slide. Thank you. So the course itself is mainly available for people who attend US college or university, and they also have an ambition to want to learn the ins and outs of web application security. This is a very specific discipline in cybersecurity. A lot of the times people may want to do some low level things. A lot of the times people may want to do some hacking that isn't necessarily related to web security because they want to do like cryptography or something. We do cover all those things, but we are mainly focused on web application. And additionally, it is recommended that students have completed a programming course or have something familiar to that done, because this will require you to program in certain parts of the course. There will be some exercises that will require a little bit of Python knowledge. And overall, I mean, you know, it is cybersecurity. You are required to sort of find bugs and stuff on code. Therefore, it is best to have some sort of programming background with everything. And then additionally, it is recommended to also have some sort of computer network fundamentals behind you, because we are going to be dealing with certain tools. We're going to be dealing with virtual machines. We're going to be dealing with something like Burp Suite. And if you have some sort of computer network fundamentals, it'll give you less of a headache for when you have to sort of set everything up or do the assignments that we ask of you, and it'll just be a more pleasant experience overall. Victoria, could you please go to the next slide? All right, thank you. And then, lastly, these are the campuses that offer non-credit and for credit. So for credit is basically run as if it's just another course. So if you want to apply for that and you see your campus on here, then you can just do it through the course registrar. However, if the university is running some non-credit course, then you can go ahead and feel free to apply in the link below. And the content in the material is going to be the same. It's just that the environment might be a smidge bit different from non-credit to for credit.
Yeah, and I'll be sending this presentation after, so you'll be able to see the link to where to apply. Specifically for non-credit, you're going to want to go to the link that I created below. And on the drop-down in the locations, you're going to pick the university that you go to. So let's say you go to UCF, you're going to go ahead and click the UCF location, and that'll go ahead and get you enrolled. Okay.
Okay, my turn.
Your turn.
Hi everyone. I'm Clinton. I'm one of the cybersecurity gurus. Yes, my name rhymes. My full name is Clinton Minton. Just to get that out of the way, I started with CodePath actually 1 year ago in July, when we had the Tech Fellow training then for the fall 2019 semester. I joined straight as a Tech Fellow. I did not take the course as a student. And I was a sophomore at Texas A&M University. Now I'm a senior there, so it's going pretty quick. You know, I kind of I didn't have a whole lot of programming experience, but I spent a lot of time in the course, and I had a mentor, one of my professors there, who helped me through. So if you feel like, you know, some of it's too much, that's okay. We can work with you and mentor you through the course. So if we can go to the next slide. We'll cover some of the tech. These are some of the, like a sampling of the technologies we'll cover. One of the main tools in the first 6 weeks will be Burp Suite, which is a proxy server that allows you to do man-in-the-middle attacks between a web browser and a web server. We'll also be working with a lot of different OWASP projects, like the Security Shepherd project. And they also have a lot of different great resources for dealing with cybersecurity, both on how to protect a web application as well as how to defeat different protective mechanisms. We'll also be going over Kali Linux, which, if anyone's ever been in cybersecurity, I'm sure you've heard of it. It's a Linux distro which has over, I believe, 500 different security tools pre-installed, one of which is Metasploit, which is a framework for attacking different or exploiting different servers and applications. And then lastly, we'll deal with the Google Cloud Platform for one of the final assignments, where we'll actually set up our own honeynet and experience it getting attacked by in the real world. And then we'll be able to, I mean, at the end, you can also capture malware samples and dissect them and try to figure out how they actually work. And it might be kind of scary for the first time if you've ever done any of that, because you'll realize how dangerous the internet really is. So if we can go to the next slide, I'll go over the course outline. So like I said, the first six units, unit 0 is really just like an orientation unit. So we're just getting you set up and getting you registered for all the different things we'll be using. Units 1 through 6 will be doing Security Shepherd, which is an OWASP product. It's basically like a server that allows you to practice your web application hacking skills. And so we'll be going over a specific type of exploit every week. So like the first week, we'll be going over insecure direct object references, or IDOR. Week 2, we'll be going over session handling or CSRF attacks, cross-site request forgeries. Week 3, we'll be going over JavaScript and cross-site scripting attacks. Week 4 is going to be SQL and SQL injection. Week 5 is going to be about cryptography and how you hide data and how you decrypt data and uncover data. Unit 6 will be user authentication. So how do you break into like a password reset system, things like that, and different things you can do to prevent that. Units 7 and 8, we'll be going over WordPress, setting up a WordPress site and then attacking it with Kali. Unit 9 will be going over attacking live targets, like websites that we have set up that you can attack. And then units 10 and 11 will be the honeypot with Google Cloud Platform. And then finally, we'll have a capstone CTF, which will be kind of like your final, but it'll be over 2 weeks. Also to mention too, the first 6 weeks will also, besides Security Shepherd, we'll also be using a CTF platform. So you'll be practicing your skills just to hone them in a little bit more. So if we can go to the next slide.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, this is the overview. I guess I just talked about it. So it's pretty much the same thing as what I just talked about. Data exposures, IDOR. Yeah, that's basically pretty much it. We just want to focus on the first half of the course on specific types, and then using that knowledge to use it on real targets for the second half. So that way it'll all come full circle back around. If we can go to the next slide. And I think that's it for me, right? Is this your part? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Clinton. I could like hear the excitement in your voice when you're talking about all these really cool assignments and all the attacks. I'm not a hacker, but I always have been super interested by it. So thank you so much, Blas and Clinton, for sharing that. So a little bit about the admissions process, right? So as I mentioned, you're gonna go ahead and go to, unless the course is being run at your university, you're gonna wanna go to the link I provided, click select your college as the location, and just fill out a 5-minute application. You will wanna look over our syllabus and make sure that you are have the familiarity to take this course. If not, it might just not be a good fit for you, or you won't have a good experience because it is quite rigorous. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. I'll also be sending the syllabus when I send this over, just so you know what to expect. So the application deadline, so August 2nd is on the rolling basis. So it really just depends on your university, but we really recommend that you apply as soon as possible, because at a lot of our non-credit sites, the applications are going quickly, their classes are getting filled up. So if this is something that you're interested in, go ahead and apply as soon as possible. So this is just a quote from a student from CUNY, Baruch. Angela, she talks about how she was always fascinated with the hackers world, and that she really feels like CodePath let her take her new concepts and practice them, and really make it come to life. So some of the problems are close simulations to real world scenarios. So that's something that she really liked about the course. And this can be something that as well, you know, if you don't have an internship right now, or you really want to get your hands on some real experiences that you can later talk about in job interviews, this is a really good place to get that. And you usually don't find it inside of an average college class. So I wanted to take a couple minutes to just talk about what being a tech fellow is. So let's say that you're not, so for fall 2020, CodePath Cybersecurity is not on your campus, and you're like, wow, I really need to bring this to my campus. This is something that I'm extremely interested in. I want this knowledge. So we equip you with everything that you need to bring CodePath to your campus. As you saw on other slides, we are at several campuses, both non-credit and for credit. If you wanted to go the non-credit route, you would be a tech fellow, which is what Blas and Clinton started out as. So basically what you are is a student leader who learns the material through a 6-week training, where you'll be in trainings with Clinton and Blas. They'll walk you through all of the full curriculum and lesson plans for sessions, creating and grading assignments. We take you through the instructor training. We support you by creating and grading assignments, so you don't have to worry about that. Discussion forums, curriculum updates, marketing resources to get the word out on your campus. If you do decide to bring that, an online learning portal, and the cost, once again, is completely free. So once you might be asking yourself, you know, why would I do this? It's kind of like really a lot to take on. From all the tech fellows that I've spoken to, they have mentioned that this experience has changed their life. It's made them better leaders. It's helped them support their peers. They've gained education that they maybe wouldn't have had otherwise. They also gain management experience and leadership skills to teach the course to their peers. So I am accepting applications right now for spring 2021. You can apply to bring CodePath to your campus at go.codepath.org/new campus, which I'll be sending you a link to. We would have a conversation. I would talk you through what are the best ways to get CodePath on your campus, whether it's non-credit, whether it's for credit. This is something I'm happy to work with you through, and that I'm currently doing with a lot of cybersecurity courses throughout CS programs in the US. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop my share. I wanna open up the floor or the chat to any questions that might come to mind that you're thinking about. Maybe if something interests you, anything that you wanna ask Clinton and Blas or myself. I think you're muted, Nia.
Hi. Yeah. Hi. My name is
Hello.
Sam. I had a question, and I'm not sure if this was covered. I think it's for Clinton. You mentioned that you came in as a tech fellow and you had never taken the class before. What was your experience level like, and what was that transition like from not taking that CodePath class and then becoming a tech fellow?
It was very rigorous in the beginning, like covering the different types of exploits and things like that I had no experience with. So it was pretty tough. I would just say if you're in the same boat as that I was, then you're just gonna have to put in extra time for that part. I did have a leg up on other people in regards to the later assignment, like with honeypot and stuff, because I do have background in network administration and Linux. So if you have good Linux skills and you're a self-starter and you can teach yourself things, that's super helpful too, because most of the cybersecurity stuff is you're just solving problems, and a lot of times it's all about how many iterations you can handle emotionally. Like how many times can you fail before you give up? That's what it's all about in cybersecurity. Whereas a lot of other classes and the way that regular universities are a lot of times taught is that you have to get it perfect before you actually do it. Whereas we want you to just do it and just keep going and going as much as you can and not give up, and you'll eventually figure out the right answer. At least that's how I've operated. And if you can do that, you can get through the course. No problem.
For sure. Thank you so much.
And we're here to support you too. So
awesome.
Clinton, would you say that, you know, through the tech fellow training, you felt prepared and supported to be able to lead the course, since you will be going through the curriculum and all of the assignments? So was that helpful, or, you know, I just
Yes. Yeah, it was helpful. My guru was Sushma. She was my guru then, and she was by herself. She was basically the only guru at that time. So she had her hands full. But, you know, I would always message her on Slack like 10 times a day whenever I needed help. And yeah, she helped me every step of the way. Um, it's surprising to me how many people don't ask for help, though. And we're always just sitting around waiting for you to ask for help. And as long as you utilize us as a resource, it's not that bad. You'll be able to get through it. It's just, like I said, it's about the emotional aspect of failing so many times before you get the right answer. And that's how it's going to be in cybersecurity. It's a different mindset than a regular programming class. Like it's different than iOS and Android. It's not linear like those classes are, I would say. Whereas programming in general, you just follow, you know, you follow a structure and then that's how you get to the answer. Whereas cybersecurity, there's more than one way to get an answer. And I get surprised all the time. I'm like, oh, I never like looked at it that angle. That's another way to solve the problem. So as long as you're creative and as long as you don't give up easily, you'll be fine. Did I answer that? Sorry, I kind of just go off on rants.
You answered my question, so
Okay.
thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Did I answer yours, Victoria?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, and if anyone's on here that maybe, you know, so needs some help with getting another student on their campus to be a tech fellow with them, I'm happy to get on outreach emails with you, brainstorm, you know, do an info session for your ACM or your Women in Cybersecurity group. You know, we can really think through what next steps look like. And then, for example, for University of Arizona, we are running a course there. So you're gonna want to go ahead and just apply on the CodePath website. Anybody else have any questions, comments?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean by computer networking fundamentals?
Like, as long as you understand like what an IP address is, a little bit about routing and firewalls, you know, you don't have to be like a master at it or anything, but as long as you know the basics, that'll help, like understanding port numbers and, you know, TCP, UDP.
Mm-hmm.
It's really only going to apply on the later half of the course. Like when you're trying to attack targets, you need to understand like, oh, are they on the same subnet? Is the network being NATed or network address translation, things like that. But I mean, the guides should help you through it all the way, as long as there's no bugs or anything. Because in IT, everything changes constantly. So a lot of the stuff that we use, you know, they're going to introduce some new feature that might break stuff. So we have to figure it out in real time, like what to do. And we always have a fix though ready. Like I know, yeah, networking fundamentals though. Basically just the basics. You don't have to be like an expert. Like you don't have to understand, like, let's say for instance, you don't need to understand like routing protocols or anything. I would say that's too advanced. We don't use that at all. So.
That's a good question.
Does that answer?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
Hi, my name
Hello.
is Farhana. So I know that you guys said that if CodePath is not on your campus, you can apply for spring 2021 to become a tech fellow. But what if CodePath is already on your campus? Are you still, like, can I still apply to become a tech fellow for the spring semester?
Yeah, where do you go to school?
Baruch.
Yeah, so right now they're running for the fall. But certainly if you want to renew the campus for spring, you can definitely be a tech fellow. We'll touch base with the tech fellow. Are you taking the course?
No, so I don't have as much experience, so that's why I wanted to do the tech fellow route, because I at first I did wanted to take the class, but then when Clinton started talking about his experience, I said, oh, okay, so I might as well try and become a tech fellow. Do you think that's a good route for me?
So I think to be a tech fellow, you do have to still have the same experience that you would to take the class. So
Okay.
as long as you have those basics down, you know, it'll be rigorous to become a tech fellow, but it's definitely something that you can do if you have those basics that we outlined and everything they mentioned, such as programming and networks.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you're curious, maybe a better place to start would be taking the course, seeing how you feel,
Okay.
and then becoming a tech fellow.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's what I would recommend, is take it as a student at first. I think it's a lot steeper learning curve if you're just going to jump in as a tech fellow.
Okay.
And then it's just too much. It could be too much pressure. But I mean, if you're drawn towards pressure and you like doing that, then I've seen where tech fellows can join up later too. So I would just, I think Olga is Olga the only tech fellow there?
Yeah, she is.
So yeah, I mean, I would just, you know, maybe ask her if she needs any help with anything, and then just work with that. We could also, yeah, I would say just start as a student first though, and just see how it feels. And if it feels like, okay, this is easy, I can, you know, I want to start teaching the content, then we'll go from there.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
We have a question in the chat from Sahajal, and I'm sorry if I just butchered your name. So he asked, is there still a chance the same schools will offer classes in the spring 2021 spring? So if they're for credit, it is very likely that they will run in the spring. If they're non-credit, it really just depends on if the same tech fellows are graduating, or if they're willing to teach the course again, or if we find another tech fellow on that campus. But if you're interested and it's running for the fall, and you have the bandwidth to do it, I would say just apply for the fall, get it while it's there, because we can't promise we can't promise that it'll be there in spring. We just have, you know, right now.
Yeah, and I think the training for the spring will start in October.
Yeah. So this is
Okay.
for the second question.
No, I was just gonna add that in there though.
Oh yeah.
Like, just take it as a student right now, and then if you feel like, wow, this is really something I want to run with, then just go ahead and sign up as a tech fellow in October, or whenever the application is. I think someone's asking when the deadline is. Yeah.
Yeah. So what is the deadline for applying to become a tech fellow? And what is the timeline for the 6-week onboarding? Okay, so the deadline for becoming a tech fellow is we're starting tech fellow applications in September. So we're accepting on a rolling basis. So right now applications are open. If you're interested, apply now. Late August, early September is going to be the cutoff where we start to really, you know, see who's serious about being a tech fellow. The timeline is October to mid-November for the onboarding tech fellow training. I can actually find it and drop the link in the chat. What school do you go to, Em?
I go to Columbia, so I would be doing it the way Clinton did, where I can't take the course this semester, but I'd like to do a tech fellowship and offer it the following semester.
Okay, cool. So I'll be happy to reach out. I don't believe we've connected yet. So I actually have another student that's also interested in cybersecurity at Columbia for spring 2021. So that you can pair up and run the course together. Let me find the link to the schedule for spring 2021 tech fellow training.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course. A question in the chat. Let's say we join for the fall course, but if it's too rigorous along with our regular classes, then what should we do? Clinton, do you want to answer that one, or Blas?
Blas, you want to answer that one?
Yeah, no problem. I mean, yeah, of course, understandable. Yeah, so I mean, if you're taking in the fall and it's too rigorous for you to sort of be able to deal with and balance out with your other classes, I'm just going to be honest, it sort of depends on what you want to do, because if you're on a non-credit site, then the easier thing would be to just postpone it for next time. However, you don't know when you're gonna have the next chance to be able to take the course again. So, I mean, without necessarily saying to just drop the course, the best course of action would maybe to ask for extensions. I do recall that when I was a tech fellow and when I was a student, there were a lot of people who also had similar situations, and what they would end up doing is they would just ask the professor for an extension on certain assignments, because I believe you have like a couple of extensions, and if and they would just sort of work with us. They would ask a lot of questions on the forum, and it shouldn't necessarily be enough to totally dominate your life at all. This course is pretty lightweight relative to other things in terms of your time and such. So it shouldn't necessarily be too much of an interference with your life. But if you do find it that it's sort of taking a toll on your schedule and all, I do highly advise you first try out as best as you can to stay in it and just request for extensions. And at the end of the day, if not, then you can just feel free to reach out to us and we can sort of decide the best course of action then.
Yeah, I'd say just try your best to keep up with the course. So definitely for the first 6 units. And because you will have 3 automatic, no questions asked, 48-hour extensions, meaning if you don't turn in homework for an assignment, it'll automatically use an extension and you'll get 48 hours extra. But you don't want to burn those up in the first, on the easy, I guess, quote unquote, the easy units. You want to save that for the big projects later on. So I think the main thing is just if you can manage your time and you can dedicate, discipline yourself to try to do an hour every night if you can. That would be optimum. So it'd be like 7 hours a week. I think that would be the best course if you can do that. Or at least 5 hours, I guess take the weekend off.
Awesome, good answer, guys. I also dropped in the chat the Tech Fellow training schedule for spring 2021. Great experience, people love it. I also included the link to fill out a form to talk about how we can bring CodePath to your campus. So when you fill out that form, it'll prompt you to set up a meeting with me, and then I'll talk you through all of the logistics, and then me and my outreach team will follow up with you and make sure it's an easy transition to get everything up and running. Yeah, does anyone else have any other questions, concerns, thoughts? Clinton, what's your favorite assignment?
My favorite assignment, probably the honeypot one, I guess, because that's kind of my background is Linux and networking and all that stuff and firewalls, and I think that one's probably the coolest one, especially too because you can watch in real, like you'll get this map where you can see the attacks coming in like from Russia and China and the United States, and it's like craziness. And then when you go and look at the malware that ends up on the honeypot, you see like WannaCry ransomware and all this stuff, and you're like, this is happening all the time, every second of every day. People are trying to infect your computer. So I think that one's pretty cool. I'd say that was probably my favorite one.
And you, Blas?
Yeah, the honeypot assignment's definitely up there, but personally, my favorite one is the RGB assignment where we hacked into the 3 different colored websites. There's a red website, a green website, and a blue website, and you have to find, I think it was like at least 3 vulnerabilities in each one of those sites, and it's really cool. It's extremely hands-on, and you definitely feel like you're genuinely like a genuine elite hacker approaching that. So it was a really cool assignment the first time I ever did it, and it's pretty gratifying finding a vulnerability in something that resembles what would be the wild. So I really enjoyed that one.
Very cool. Every second of every day, our computers are getting attacked. So definitely we need all the cybersecurity professionals we can get. So yeah, if we don't have any other questions, I'll give you some time back. I'm gonna drop my email in the chat. If you want to reach out to me, if you have any questions about CodePath, bringing CodePath to your campus, why you should be a tech fellow, stories from other students, gurus, I'm happy to be a resource for you. Again, my name is Victoria. Thank you so much for joining us today and your interest. And
Thank you so much.
Thank you. One last thing, if you know students at other universities who would really benefit from this, or that they would love this, please send them my way. I'm happy to chat with them, trying to get these free resources and these free courses out to as many students as possible. So definitely send me a note and we'll connect. And happy to connect on LinkedIn as well. All right.
Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Thank you.
Sign up. You won't regret it.
Definitely.
All right. Look forward to working with everybody.
Yep.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good one.